Do you remember that conversation you had after the pre-judging, the classic Olympia judging? And you came over, and I forget who was with you. And they were saying, I said, Chris looks fantastic. I said, but something's happened with his back. And you were saying he flattened out, and it went from the body part that kind of was his weakest, which was his back. So what happened? Yeah. What happened there? What have you done to rectify that for this year? Because, because next to Brian, I mean, Brian's back shots were really superb, and because everything else looks so great on Chris, and he won the Olympia, so fair play to him. But what happened there? Was it just that could he not fill out again after the weigh-in, or what happened?
Well, the thing with Chris is because obviously he fights a pretty significant autoimmune disease, right? Like he's got Berger's disease.
Of course, yeah, the kidneys. Yeah.
It's IgA neuropathy that affects his kidneys, right? So, I mean, we have to be very, very careful with, how we carb him up and to not hold excess water. To obviously diuretic usage is very, very careful, or none at all, really. To water manipulation, protein intake, like all these things can have a very, very drastic effect on Chris's look, very quick. So, when it comes to a carb up, I mean, especially when he was coming from a depleted state, with him, his body it just holds water and, gets inflamed and edema in such, kind of curious ways. So, in very unpredictable ways. So, I mean, we start putting carbs in him, and with no logical reason, after one meal, he might just fly up 10 pounds and be holding water all over the place.
Right. That's tricky, isn't it? That must be so stressful.
It's very tricky. I mean, obviously we've learned a lot. I mean, 2017 was the absolute worst. Sorry, 2018 was the absolute worst. 2019, we got the reins on a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And he didn't quite have as bad of a flare up in 2018. I mean, obviously, 2019, when you put that stress on the body, it always gives you some kind of negative feedback with an autoimmune like that.
Yeah.
It's just obviously mitigating that, and the more we know, and also, the more we keep our eyes on, everything like his blood work and his numbers and stuff like that. So we really know kind of where we are and where we can push and where we can't. And, we really need to keep our eye on things like that. So, but yeah, 2019, we had a way better, our reins on a lot better, but I had to really bring him in the show kind of in a flat, depleted state. Yeah. The risk of,
but the thing is, he was hard. His lines, his front shots and side shots were, he looked so good. I mean, it must have been really exciting for you guys to see him win that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Chris is one of the bodybuilders completely opposite to myself, where when I'm flat, I look like an amateur. When Chris is flat, Chris still looks like Mr. Olympia. So
yeah, he's got that structure. He's got the wide shoulders and the nice even abs. He's got that the full chest. He's got that classic look, isn't he? And those crazy lines in his legs and his small joints, and he looks great.
Flat. When he's really flat, his midsection looks even better, to be honest. He can pull a tighter vacuum, and he has crazy quad separation, like you said. The place that suffers the most is his weakest muscle, which is, his arms or his back.
Yeah.
Obviously the thing with this now is he beat Brayon with weak arms and weak back. So we don't need to have as good of a back and as good of arms as Brayon. We just need them to continue to improve, and to keep that gap ahead of Brayon. If anything, try and, widen the gap a little bit. So obviously we'll continue to accentuate his strengths that we know are making him win the Olympia. Obviously having that crazy sweeping lats from the front, the huge quads, the crazy tight midsection, the round shoulders, make sure that those are obviously the focus, and to, always display our strengths to the fullest of their capabilities. And then to just, obviously continue to work up, his back is definitely improved. His arms are significantly improved.
Good.
So we don't need to be better than Brayon in Brayon's strengths. We just need to beat him by more in our strengths, which we are. In the spots that where we beat him, I mean, the front double, the abs and thighs, the classic pose, some of these poses where we really pull away. We just need to continue to widen that, and then just to close the gap so Brayon's not beating him by so much